Veterans, first off, thank you for your service. And second, let's talk money. Because branches of the armed forces are offering up to $115,000 to join or come back. There is a niche for military veterans prepared for rapid deployment for underwater missions, new benefits in the works, and record pay increase coming for disabled veterans and military retirees likely in 2023. Okay, guys, let's get right into it. The Navy is offering potential recruits a new eye-watering figure in exchange for joining its ranks: $115,000 in possible bonuses and loan repayment. The Navy announced that it is topping its already historically high $50,000 signing bonus, with the possibility of earning up to $65,000 in loan repayment as well, emphasizing that the two numbers are not mutually exclusive. So if a future sailor maximizes both, that adds up to a life-altering $115,000 and the opportunity to serve in the world's finest Navy. But there are naturally a few conditions that apply. For starters, the signing bonus is a maximum of $50,000. That requires enlisting in specific jobs and agreeing to ship out to boot camp quickly. The biggest bonuses are still for sailors who are eligible and interested in becoming part of the Navy's nuclear program or nuclear power program. That's a $38,000 bonus just for the job. And on top of that, you can layer more money to ship out quickly. The Navy is offering $10,000 for a recruit in any job who's willing to go to boot camp between now and the end of September. And some jobs can see the bonus rise to $25,000. The $65,000 loan repayment bonus has far fewer conditions, though. And according to the latest Navy instruction, that offer is on the table for any job and regardless of when you ship out. Now, under this latest offering, the Navy is also encouraging young recruiters or younger recruits who may not have loans like high school seniors to consider signing up by offering $10,000 just for entering the delayed entry program by October 31st of this year, with the condition that the recruit has to graduate from high school prior to shipping out in July of next year. And the Navy is also taking a relatively novel approach and speaking to former sailors and other enlisted veterans who are considering coming back to military service. A press release specifically noted that returning veterans are eligible for many of these bonuses as long as they come in at the rank of E4 or below and did not receive a bonus in their first enlistment, stating that if you are a sailor, Marine, Airman, Soldier, Guardian, or Coast Guardsman who recently separated, this is an opportunity without precedent. The statement also said that veterans of any branch would go through only a 3-week naval orientation course at the Navy's boot camp facility at Great Lakes, Illinois, while former Navy veterans would be required to do even less just in processing. Commander Dave Benham, a spokesman for the Navy's recruiting command, explained that the high bonuses persist because the Sea Service recognizes that young Americans today have more employment options and opportunities than ever before, adding that we are offering record high enlistment bonuses to be competitive with the strong civilian labor market, recognizing that we are in competition for the best and the brightest young Americans from all walks of life. The high totals also reflect that the Navy, like all the other branches, is struggling to attract recruits. In addition to the unprecedented bonuses, the service has instituted programs that tempt sailors near the end of their enlistment to keep serving longer by offering money to stay at forward deployment locations, and most recently give promotions to senior enlisted to take orders to certain ships. So these are some pretty enticing offers that they've put together and put out on the table. And there's a nonprofit organization that deploys military veterans for underwater conservation missions nationwide, dubbed the Next Branch of Service. They acknowledge that many of America's highly skilled heroes have a new purpose, and the nonprofit organization Force Blue is applying the talents of special operations military veterans in underwater conservation missions across the country. Force Blue co-founder and executive director Jim Ritterhoff, shared in an interview with Fox News Digital that his organization is the only nonprofit in the world that retrains and redeploys military trained divers from across all branches to work with scientists and environmentalists on marine conservation missions. The idea married two unrelated issues. One, the rapid decline of the health of our oceans, and two, veterans who experience an often bumpy transition back to civilian life. Ritterhoff said, maybe we could give them back that sense of belonging, sense of teamwork, most importantly, that sense of mission, and serving something larger than yourself. What's larger than yourself than the health of the planet? Ritterhoff emphasized that the South Carolina-based business has offered veterans the opportunity to feel a part of something again. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Suze McDonald, who's been involved with Force Blue for nearly 2 years, agreed that the organization's mission to repurpose the skill set of veterans is an important one. She told Fox News Digital that you spend so much time training and learning a skill that you retire and feel a little bit lost. The Army veteran of nearly 3 decades said her experience as an intel officer helped her give her the skills to plan effectively and coordinate missions. And she said every operation starts with intel. Even though she wasn't a military trained diver, McDonald has been diving as a hobby since 1986, and she actively works as a scuba instructor in Florida. Now, 10 missions in, McDonald said she feels inspired by the passion in others around her. She mentioned that the camaraderie and these missions has been seamless since prioritizing teamwork is pretty much being in the military. And everybody at Force Blue wants to continue to improve their skill set, their knowledge, and be able to produce more results. With another Army veteran saying, it just seems like a perfect fit. He added, from doing what I was doing in the military to this, it's a very similar mindset. The former Green Beret and combat diver received his certification as a scuba instructor through his work in the military, and now he serves as a lead scuba instructor at the Divers Institute of Technology in Seattle. Henderson completed one of several Force Blue missions in June alongside McDonald in Isla Mirada, Florida, in which veterans, scientists, and students outplanted coral in the area's reefs. The mission partnered with conservation organizations like i.care and the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation, which conducts scientific research and hosts educational marine care programming. And the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation co-chair, Jessica Harvey, even took the dive herself and said, the scientific community partnering with special operations veterans brings a different perspective to it, and that we're on the right track as far as the conservation side of things go. Force Blue's first class in 2017 brought in 6 special ops veterans, including a British Royal Marine, and the partnership between military and scientific personnel immediately just meshed. Force Blue has since completed various marine conservation missions, including coral reef restorations in partnership with the NFL, debris removals, and green sea turtle surveys. And since some missions require veterans to spend long periods of time away from home, Ritterhoff mentioned that Force Blue members are always paid for their work. He said they're trying to break that cycle of running around the world like in the military. That doesn't have to be your whole life. But they do keep a pretty steady workflow going, and he is very pleased with that. He added that if we can be thought of as the next branch of service for veterans, we can take that global. And there have been updates for veterans who were exposed to burn pits and may receive new benefits. Now, burn pits are essentially piles of trash that have been set on fire at U.S. military bases throughout the Middle East, which sometimes included burning rubber, burning chemicals, and other toxic materials. Now, the burning would send black smoke whipping through the air and into the lungs of U.S. troops. And as an unfortunate result, many of the veterans who were exposed to the toxic smoke have suffered respiratory illness and cancers from inhaling fine particulate matter. basically very small particles that people would breathe in, which has created a lot of respiratory illnesses. President Biden has signed legislation called the PACT Act that now expands federal health care benefits for those directly affected by burn pits. Veterans recall working in the burn pits, and whatever they wanted thrown in there, you threw it in there, no questions asked. Basically, you don't ask, you just do your job. And like many other veterans, Michael, a 36-year-old veteran of the Armed National Guard, did 2 tours in Afghanistan, one in 2007 and another in 2012. And in 2016, Michael was diagnosed with throat cancer, and within a year, it spread throughout his entire body. He had throat, liver, lung, bone, and 5 masses on his brain. Michael later died in 2017. Now, Michael's wife, a widow, Melissa, says she's tried 5 different times to get his benefits, but she was denied each time. And she says that the VA told her 3 different times she didn't have information. And she said somebody doesn't get cancer, 5 different kinds of cancer, that fast without being exposed to burn pits. Now, since the PACT Act was signed into law, she reapplied to receive Michael's benefits. And if she's denied, she says she's pretty much going to be left with nowhere to go but out on the streets. She's afraid, and she said, I'm going to lose my house in 2 weeks, and that's pretty much all I have left. It's just 2 weeks. Under the PACT Act, surviving family members of a veteran may also be eligible for benefits. So I really hope that she gets approved. And there are record pay increases likely coming for disabled veterans and military retirees in 2023. Military retirees and veterans receiving disability pay from the Department of Veteran Affairs are likely to see record monthly check increases for the 2nd year running, thanks to the pace of inflation, according to new estimates. The annual VA disability pay and military retirement cost of living pay adjustment, known as COLA, is typically tied to the Social Security rate change, which will likely be announced in October. An early projection based on national inflation data by the Senior Citizens League, TSCL, a nonpartisan senior advocacy nonprofit, estimates rates will rise by 9.6%. That increase would be the highest veterans and seniors have seen since 1981, when it went up 11.2% in response to inflation at the time, and this is all according to a TSCL press release. Now, for 2023, that means military retirees would see an average increase of more than $240 in their monthly retirement checks. Veterans receiving disability compensation from the VA also would see their monthly disability payments increase, with the average monthly amount going up by more than $150. The VA says nearly 5.2 million veterans receive disability compensation with an annual benefit of $18,858 as of 2021. According to the Defense Department, there are around 1.87 million military retirees who had an annual average retirement payment of $30,265 in 2020, the most recent year for which data was readily available. Now, the annual Social Security COLA increase is based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, which is measured by the Department of Labor. The department takes a snapshot of the costs of a select group of goods and services and compares those costs to the previous year. If there is an increase, retirees and many others receiving government benefits see a bump in their monthly payments for the upcoming year. If those costs go down, the government payments will remain the same in the upcoming year. TSCL's estimate is based on the CPI through July, but with several months left to go, the ultimate increase could vary slightly from the projection. For example, if inflation continues to increase, the COLA raise could be as high as 10.01%. And if inflation falls below the recent average, the increase could dip to 9.3%. The anticipated record increase would be the 2nd year running for such bumps. For 2022, the raise was 5.9%, which followed an average 1.5% increase over the 10 years before it. So you can see the direction that we're going. Now, that's all that I have for you guys today on today's update. Please give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for your support, and I will bring you another update as soon as possible. Please take care, be safe, and God bless.